Ladies and gentlemen, there is something magical about the world before sunrise. When the clock strikes 4 a.m., everything is still. The world is sleeping, lost in its dreams. But the brave ones, the ones who are hungry for more, they rise. Not because they have to, but because they want to. They want to change their lives. And if you are serious, truly serious about changing yours, it starts right here, in the dark, by waking up when the rest of the world is dreaming. At 4 a.m., you are not just ahead of your day, you are ahead of most of the world. You have the silence, the space, and the raw power to create your future without a single distraction. No notifications, no noise, no pressure. It's just you, your breath, your thoughts, and your goals. I know what you're thinking. It's not easy. Your bed will pull you back with the weight of 1,000 anchors. Your mind will bargain with you, whispering just 5 more minutes. But let me ask you this, and I want you to answer honestly, deep in your soul. How bad do you want it? Your dream, your purpose, your new life, they're all on the other side of that one decision. They are waiting on the other side of discipline. When you conquer the morning, you begin to conquer your habits, your excuses, and eventually you conquer your life. People think success is some lottery ticket won by talent. It's not. It's about repetition. It's about consistency. It's about the grit to show up again and again and again, especially when nobody is watching. The ones who wake up at 4 a.m. understand this secret. They give themselves a head start. They build a world within themselves before they ever step into the world outside. Wake up early to reclaim your time and silence. It sounds so simple, but in that one sentence lies a whole new life waiting for you. The truth is, most of us spend our entire day reacting. We're a pinball in a machine we didn't build. Reacting to alarms, to messages, to deadlines, to demands. From the moment we open our eyes, the world pulls us in 100 different directions. But imagine this. What if you woke up before the world could reach you? What if you opened your eyes when the sky was still a deep, velvety black, and the only sound was the rhythm of your own breath? That silence isn't empty. It's full of possibility. It's your one chance to choose how you begin your day, instead of letting the world decide for you. At 4 a.m., the world is quiet. Your phone is a dark, silent rectangle. Your family is sleeping. Your city is asleep. And in that stillness, there is something sacred. There is no rush, no pressure, no noise. You finally have the time to hear your own thoughts, the ones that get drowned out in the chaos of the day. You finally get to be with yourself, without distraction, without interruption. This isn't about productivity for the sake of hustle. This is about presence. It's about reclaiming a part of your life that has been stolen by noise, by comparison, by a manufactured sense of urgency. Time is the most precious thing we have, yet we treat it like it's endless. We spend hours scrolling, watching, consuming, while the dreams we once held so tightly gently fade into the background. But at 4 a.m., you remember. You remember that you once wanted more for yourself. You remember that there is something deep inside you that is not okay with settling. And in that quiet, sacred hour, you can begin again. You can pick up a book, stretch your body, pray, meditate, journal, or simply breathe. You can start building your new self before anyone else has even started their day. Reclaiming your time isn't about filling every second with tasks. It's about giving your time meaning. When you wake up early, you give yourself the first slice of the day, not the leftovers. Not the drained, exhausted hours after everyone else has taken what they need from you. But the first, freshest, purest moments. You start to honor yourself. You send a message to the universe, I matter. You are not here to merely survive your day. You are here to own it, and ownership starts with intention. This one habit creates a ripple. Tat touches everything. It begins to change how you see the rest of your day. When you start with silence, you carry calm into the noise. When you begin with clarity, you face chaos with grace. You stop feeling like you're always behind. You stop rushing. You're not chasing time anymore, you are walking with it. In step, in rhythm. You start to feel powerful, not because you're doing more, but because you're doing what matters first. Most people wait for peace. They wait for a vacation, for a Sunday, for some perfect, elusive moment. But peace is not something you wait for. It is something you create. And those early hours, they are your canvas. Paint them slowly. Breathe into them deeply. Create a morning that reflects the life you truly want, because how you start your day shapes everything. Not just your mood, your choices, your energy, your entire mindset. No one sees your 4 a.m.s. No one claps for you when you sit in the dark and choose discipline over comfort. But that's the point. You're not doing it to impress anyone. You are doing it to return to yourself. And once you taste the stillness of a morning that belongs only to you, you will never again trade it for an extra hour of sleep. Morning discipline shapes your character. It may sound like a phrase on a motivational poster, but it's a profound truth that quietly reshapes your entire life when you start living by it. Discipline isn't loud, It doesn't scream for attention or show off in front of others. It is a quiet decision you make every single day. And when you choose to wake up in the early hours of the morning, when the bed feels so warm and the world outside is dark and silent, that single choice slowly chisels away at your inner world. The moment you wake up early, not because you have to, but because you choose to, something within you begins to change. It starts with small things. You begin to value your own word. You said you would wake up and you did. You begin to trust yourself. You set a goal and you followed through. That simple act of showing up for yourself at an hour when no one is watching, no one is expecting, and no one is applauding, that is the very root of discipline. And it has nothing to do with perfection. You will mess up. You will snooze the alarm. You will sleep in some days. But when you come back, when you try again the next day, when you rebuild the habit, that is when your character is truly forged. Character isn't built in moments of comfort. It is built in those moments when your feelings scream one thing and your values whisper another. It's built when you choose effort over ease, commitment over convenience. Morning discipline trains your mind to lead your body. It teaches you that feelings are not facts. Just because you feel tired doesn't mean you cannot move. Just because you feel lazy doesn't mean you cannot act. And this power, this strength to rise above your fleeting moods becomes your secret edge. In a world where most people are addicted to comfort, discipline is a rebellion. When you train yourself to do what needs to be done before your mind has a chance to talk you out of it, you build something far greater than a routine. You build resilience. You build integrity. You become someone who does not fold when life gets heavy. You start treating your time like it matters. You stop wasting it on things that drain you. You begin to protect your energy like it is sacred. That morning discipline also creates a profound sense of order in your life. You begin to notice your thoughts more clearly. You become intentional with your actions. You don't start your day reacting to the world. You begin it with purpose. Whether it's exercising, writing, planning, meditating, or simply sitting in silence, what you do in the early morning shapes who you become when the world is watching. Because the truth is, public victories are built on private discipline. Over time, this discipline seeps into every part of your life. You start keeping promises to others because you now keep promises to yourself. You become reliable, not just to the world, but to your own heart. You stop chasing motivation and start relying on structure. You no longer need someone else to push you. You are driven by something deeper, something anchored in the person you are trying to become. The beauty of morning discipline is that it requires no talent, no fancy tools, no one else's approval. Just you, your alarm, and a choice. The same choice every single day. And each time you make it, you sharpen your spirit. You toughen your will. You step closer to becoming the kind of person who doesn't just talk about change, but lives it. Because real change doesn't come from big, loud decisions. It comes from those small, quiet wins, like waking up when you said you would, even when no one else knows. But you do. Consistent mornings create consistent growth. It's not about one powerful day or one perfect morning. Real growth is not something that explodes overnight. It's something that builds brick by brick, moment by moment, choice by choice. When you start your day with intention, again and again, it's like planting seeds. Not every seed shows fruit right away, but with enough time, something strong begins to take root inside of you. There is something powerful about repetition. Waking up early is not a one-time effort, it's a rhythm, a silent beat that keeps you grounded. When life feels chaotic, the world will throw challenges, disappointments, and distractions at you. But when you have a morning routine that you return to no matter what, it becomes your anchor. It becomes your space of stability in a world that often feels unstable. And from that stability, real growth begins to happen. Not just in what you do, but in how you think, how you respond, how you carry yourself. Consistency isn't glamorous. It's not exciting, but it is brutally effective. You may not feel the change every single day, but over time it becomes undeniable. The early hours teach you patience. They teach you the art of showing up, not for the results, but for the process itself. And when you fall in love with the process, you stop rushing the outcome. You begin to appreciate the small wins, the quiet mornings when you read a single page, the short workouts that build strength, the peaceful walks that clear your head. These moments may seem small, but they are never wasted. They are investments. And every morning you choose to show up, you add value to yourself. You start to see how much power you actually have. You stop waiting for motivation, for perfect conditions, for someone to come and push you. You understand that discipline is a muscle. And every time you wake up and follow through, you strengthen it. Eventually it becomes natural. It becomes part of who you are. Not someone who talks about change, but someone who is living it quietly and consistently. Growth needs a place to land, and your morning routine is that place. It's where new habits can take shape. It's where old excuses begin to die. It is where you separate yourself from the crowd, because most people wake up and dive straight into distraction. but you take space. Space to learn, to think, to move, to breathe. That space gives birth to clarity, and clarity leads to direction, and direction leads to progress. When your mornings are consistent, your values stay in front of you. You are reminded every day of who you want to become. It is so easy to forget your goals in the mad rush of life, but when you give yourself even 1 hour of focused presence each morning, you keep your purpose alive. You keep your vision fresh. You realign yourself daily with your future self. People often say they want transformation. They want to be more confident, more healthy, more productive. But they wait for a spark, for something dramatic to wake them up. The truth is, growth is not a firework. It is a sunrise. Slow, gentle, quiet, but absolutely unstoppable. And when you build a morning rhythm and stay loyal to it, you become unstoppable too. Not because everything is easy, but because you keep going, because you keep showing up, because you decided that your growth matters more than your comfort. The secret to a better life is not found in doing more. It is found in doing what matters again and again until it shapes who you are. And that journey begins every morning when the world is still quiet and you choose to rise. You will become someone others look up to. It doesn't happen overnight, and it's not something you announce. It happens quietly, through small acts of consistency, through a discipline that no one else sees, through the choices you make every single morning when no one is watching. People begin to notice, not just what you do, but who you are becoming. They notice the glow in your eyes, the calm in your words, the strength in how you carry yourself. And without even trying, you start to inspire. Not because you're perfect, but because you are intentional. When you wake up early and live with purpose, you create an invisible shift in your presence. There is something magnetic about someone who is grounded. You speak less but say more. You rush less but achieve more. You complain less but carry more grace. And the people around you feel that. They begin to wonder what changed, why you're not as tired, why you're not as overwhelmed. They start asking you how you manage everything with such steadiness. And the truth is, the change started long before they ever noticed. It started with a decision. A quiet, personal decision to rise when the world slept and choose yourself. This influence you build is not forced. It is earned. Through early mornings that no one celebrated. Through days when it would have been easier to stay in bed, but you got up anyway. Through quiet moments when you reflected instead of reacted. Over time, people begin to sense that you are reliable, that your words match your actions, that you are not swayed by every mood or situation. That makes you trustworthy. And trust is rare. It makes you someone people want to follow. Not because you are loud, but because you are steady. Leadership is not about titles. It's about presence. It's about energy. It's about character. When you live with consistency, when you show up for yourself, you naturally start to show up better for others. You listen more deeply. You encourage more sincerely. You help more selflessly. And people feel safe around you. They feel inspired, not intimidated. That is what makes you someone they look up to. Not perfection, but authenticity. Not dominance, but quiet strength. This kind of influence extends beyond words. Your habits begin to speak louder than your advice. People see you taking care of your health, making time for reflection, prioritizing your peace. They notice how you treat your time like it matters. And without preaching or pushing, you begin to plant seeds. Seeds of possibility. Seeds of change. You become a walking example that transformation is possible, that discipline can be beautiful, that simplicity is powerful. You also begin to uplift others naturally, because when you are rooted, you don't compete, you don't compare. You celebrate others because you are not threatened by their success. You help others rise because you know what it feels like to rise alone. That kind of support creates deep, lasting respect. People begin to see you, not just as someone doing well, but as someone making others better. That is the mark of real leadership. Not how far you go alone, but how many people you bring with you. It's never been about trying to impress. It's about becoming your best self. And when you commit to that quietly, daily, relentlessly, you become the kind of person who lights a path for others. Not by shouting from the front, but by walking ahead with humility, strength, and unwavering clarity. But what happens on that path? What do you discover in the stillness? Week after week, month after month. The decision to wake up is just the gate. The real transformation, the one that changes the very molecules of your being, happens once you walk through it. You begin to unlock a part of your mind that the world has kept dormant. In the chaos of a normal day, your brain is a survival machine. It's processing, reacting, defending, calculating. But in the pre-dawn silence, it becomes something more. It becomes a creator. It becomes a philosopher. It becomes an artist. This is where true creativity is born. Not from pressure or deadlines, but from space. In those early hours, your mind is free from the clutter of the day. The anxieties haven't woken up yet. The to-do lists are still asleep. And in that pristine mental environment, you can connect dots you never saw before. The solution to a problem that haunted you for weeks suddenly appears, simple and elegant. The idea for a new project, a new path, a new way of living, whispers itself into existence. You're not forcing it. You are simply creating the conditions for it to arrive. You become a conduit for insight. This is also where you forge an unbreakable sense of self-belief. Think about it. Every single time that alarm goes off, you are faced with a battle. Your body craves comfort. Your mind manufactures excuses. And every time you choose to get up, you are casting a vote for the person you want to become. You are telling your subconscious mind, I am the kind of person who does what they say they will do. I am disciplined. I am strong. I can be trusted. That is a message far more powerful than any external validation you could ever receive. This isn't about arrogance. It's about a deep, quiet confidence that is forged in the fire of daily promises kept. When you know, deep in your bones, that you can count on yourself, the opinions of the world start to lose their power. You are no longer swayed by criticism, because your self-worth isn't up for debate. It's being built by you, every single morning in the dark. Failure becomes a teacher, not a judge. Setbacks become lessons, not dead ends. Because you know that tomorrow morning you will rise again, and you will begin anew. This daily practice fundamentally rewires your emotional landscape. Most people live at the mercy of their feelings. Their day is good or bad based on a passing mood, an unexpected comment, a frustrating traffic jam. But when you start your day centered and grounded, you build an emotional anchor. You learn to observe your emotions without becoming them. You create a space between the trigger and your response. And in that space lies your freedom. You no longer react with anger when someone challenges you. You respond with consideration. You no longer spiral into anxiety when things go wrong. You pause, breathe, and focus on a solution. You become the calm in the storm, not just for yourself, but for everyone around you. People will be drawn to your stability, to your unshakable peace. Because it is so rare, they will see in you a strength they crave for themselves. This emotional mastery isn't a superpower, it's a skill. And your training ground is that quiet, sacred hour before the sun comes up. What you're really doing is harnessing the power of the compound effect. It seems so small that one morning. It doesn't feel like much. But that one morning, multiplied by 365 days, is a revolution. The one page you read becomes a library of wisdom. The 10 minutes of exercise becomes a body transformed. The few lines you journal become a map of your own soul. These small, seemingly insignificant acts, when done with relentless consistency, are what create monumental shifts. It is the slow, patient, unglamorous work that builds an extraordinary life. Everyone wants the overnight success, the lottery win, the viral moment. But lasting change, true fulfillment, is built differently. It's built in the dark, when no one is watching. It's built on the foundation of 1,000 small decisions that honor your future self. Over time, you won't even recognize the person you used to be. The person who was always tired, always reactive, always waiting for someday. You will have built a new reality for yourself, one choice at a time. And this journey will inevitably lead you back to your true purpose. So much of our lives is spent chasing what we're told we should want. The job, the car, the status. We adopt other people's definitions of success and then wonder why we feel empty. The silence of 4 a.m. is a truth serum. It strips away the noise. It silences the expectations of others. It leaves you with one question. What do I truly want? In that stillness, you begin to hear your own voice again. The one you lost somewhere along the way. You reconnect with your passions, your curiosities, your authentic desires. You start to align your actions with your soul, not with society. You might discover that your true path is quieter, simpler, or completely different from what you imagine. But it will be yours. And living a life that is authentically yours is the ultimate form of success, the ultimate source of peace. So the choice before you is more than just about waking up early. It is about choosing to live intentionally. It is about choosing to become the architect of your life, not just a tenant within it. It is about choosing to believe that you are worth the effort, that your dreams are worth the discipline. Look around you. The world is full of people who are asleep at the wheel of their own lives, drifting, reacting, hoping that someday, somehow, things will get better. But hope is not a strategy. The life you want will not come looking for you. It must be built. It must be earned. It must be chosen. Every single day. Tonight, when you set that alarm, I want you to see it not as a chore, but as a key to a door you've been waiting your whole life to unlock. Behind that door is a version of you that is stronger, calmer, clearer, and more alive than you can possibly imagine. That person is not a distant dream. They are a decision away. When it rings in the cold and the dark, you will hear two voices. One will be the voice of your past, of your comfort, of your fear. It will beg you to stay where you are. The other voice will be quieter. It will be the voice of your future, the voice of your potential. the voice of the person you were born to be. Listen to that voice. The journey will not be easy. There will be days you want to quit, but on those days, I want you to remember this feeling right now. The spark in your heart, the hunger for something more. Hold on to that. Let it be your fuel, because the person on the other side of that discipline is worth every single moment of discomfort. The path is laid before you. It begins in the silence. It begins in the dark. It begins with one simple choice. Choose to rise. Rise and meet the person you were always meant to become. Your new life is waiting.